I'm joined now by Roger Entne. He's the founder and lead analyst of Recon Analytics and Research. So some breaking news here. What do you make of the U.S. Commerce Department's 90-day extension for Huawei? What was behind that move?
I think it's a thinking pause for both sides, and it gives President Trump time to meet with President Xi and come to a deal. President Trump always prides himself to be the master of deals, and so I think he will give this another shot.
Do you think it was maybe a walk back of sorts? I mean, we mentioned Google, I'll get to that in just a second, but all of these companies made these decisions recently to either not supply Huawei or to stop Android from running on their equipment. So what does this decision do to what these companies decided?
Well, I think this decision gives everybody time to think through it. The decision from the US government came very quickly, and businesses immediately reacted as they have to as law-abiding companies. The impact is quite dramatic. Huawei buys $11 billion worth of electronics in the United States, and that's more than 20% of every thing that we export there. So that's a significant impact for the semiconductor industry.
So companies like Intel, Qualcomm, they're not going to supply Huawei. We mentioned Google's decision with its Android updates. Is this a political decision, a legal decision, or a business decision for them?
To a certain extent, it's a combination of all of them together. It is fundamentally the reasoning that the US government gives is a security concern. But then you have the politics weaved into it, and that has then economic repercussions.
What will be the short and long-term repercussions of all this? And what about all of the countries caught in the middle? Let's take all of these European countries whose customers use all of these devices. What should they do?
Well, in the short run, if you own a Huawei device, you're fine. Your phone will continue to work. Google will not cut off access. It's all about new devices from Huawei, and there it can get hurt quite significantly with the if it remains on the entities list. In the long run, it gives China even more incentive to become independent from Western technology and source everything in China, all the chips developed in China. And Huawei is in a better situation than, for example, CTE was, because Huawei makes its own RF chip and its own mobile processor, whereas CTE was critically dependent on Qualcomm. So I think Chinese companies will go further down the road in becoming independent from US suppliers. It's a lot more difficult on the software and services side, because there's only one Facebook, there's only one Twitter. There are many services that don't exist in China, but they are very popular in Europe. And if you can't get that in Europe, it's still going to stop people from buying Huawei devices.
All right, Roger Entne, thank you so much for joining us from Boston. We appreciate it.